this is like one more case of something I've been complaining about, which is writers thinking they don't need to try if they have a good message. When I say having a good message makes it even more important that you tell it well so that it's compelling and interesting. And this movie does not do that. It kind of just says it's obvious that the ending is good, therefore we don't need to put any effort into it. And on that basis, I was not impressed. Movie makers, especially like in the past decade or so, have really latched onto this idea that like a movie that confirms your political views is a good one by default, and nothing else matters, right? It doesn't matter how the story is told. It doesn't matter if it makes sense. It doesn't matter if it's well made. If it's on your team, then it's good. If it's not on your team, then it's bad. And I think that's the death of storytelling. And I think you can have both, right? Like this is not an underhanded appeal to say, oh, I don't want politics in my entertainment or something like that. Every entertainment is on some level political, by choosing which story to tell, who the hero is, who the villain is, what the problem is, what a solution is. All of these are political choices, or that at least touch on real world politics, right? That's a decision that's made in the real world, and it informs our cultural discourse and what opinions are out there. And so it's not about why is there politics in my political thriller, right? It's not about that. It's you can have a story that affirms your political point of view, and you can have a well-told story. And those two are not in conflict. And in fact, I think if you are passionate about your message, then you should care about it being convincing. And this is not convincing. Like it's not even at the point where it's not convincing. It just doesn't do anything, because the first hour and 50, I call it the first hour 45, is like this hard-boiled politics, deal-making, power brokering, portraying the Vatican as a worldly political institution with factions and alliances, and like there's votes to win, and as people have said, politics is about winning. And so the goal of the conclave is to have your faction win, because that decides the soul of the Vatican for the next generation, right? Because this is an appointment for life, and this person, like whoever gets elected, might be on the throne for half a century, right? So it's important who wins the conclave, right? And if you want to tell a story about the battle for the soul of the church, right, then you can tell that in an intelligent way. And the director has shown that he's capable of doing this in the first hour 45, because that is very nuanced, very subtle. It makes choices like making the Nigerian cardinal a bad guy. I did not expect that. Right? But then when it comes to the election of Benitez, right? The guy's just a saint. He knows the right thing to say, but he doesn't have to do anything. There's no indication that he is a good political leader. There's no indication that he would be a good pope, other than he says the right things. And in doing so, it's depriving us of a good story, and it's depriving us of a good argument for what the movie is trying to do. And one thing that like writers in general need to remember is that if you think you're in the position to teach somebody something, like what they should believe or to adopt your point of view, the first step in teaching is seduction, meaning you have to get people to a point where they want to listen to you first, and then you can give your message. If you skip the first part, the only people listening to you are the ones who already agree with you, and at that point I have to wonder whether what you're doing is all that constructive. So, and this movie is a big exercise in doing that. And it could have been so much better if it had just stuck to its own rules and the way it portrays characters and conflicts and dilemmas, and simply applied that to Benitez.